seen the controversial teaser for Shrek 5? And if you have, can you share your thoughts? Simple answer, I just don't really care. Shrek came out when I was like 20 years old. I didn't grow up with it. I watched it for the first time in its entirety within the last 5 years with my kids. That's my experience with Shrek. That was not my childhood. The same way that most of my viewers had Shrek as a thing that was like a staple. Not the case for me at all. You know, very late to the party, watched it quite literally in my late 30s the first time I watched it. So I have no emotional investment. So I watched it and I was like, okay, corny jokes, Zendaya's in it. I guess that if you're going to do an announcement of someone joining your cast, this is a fun way to do it that'll get buzz. So cool. But I didn't really notice the redesign. And I certainly don't care. The internet is going crazy about this redesign. And the whole time I'm thinking, right, Shrek always has looked creepy because it was characters animation CGI from over 20 years ago when it didn't look very good. So like redesigns to me is like, that doesn't bother me at all because I don't care. I didn't grow up with it. It has no connection there of purity or anything like that. So I saw it. I didn't really even notice because I'm not invested in all of these modern, Puss in Boots has this very dramatic stylistic change. So I didn't think anything of it. So I saw the internet go crazy about it. I guess that makes sense. I went crazy about Sonic because I grew up with Sonic from the Genesis era, but I grew up with Sonic. So I saw the original design and went, well, I don't like that. What are you doing? I didn't see this new teaser and have any of those thoughts whatsoever, like at all, because I just don't care. And I've always thought the Shrek looked like early CGI because it was. It had flaws. So updating it now that CGI is awesome and you can do a lot more things and render things much better, that's not surprising to me. But like as for the spot itself, it like has a couple of these like meme culture jokes and stuff that like don't necessarily date the best. But then again, I mean, it's always been very pop culture savvy. That's what this franchise has always been. So if you're going to update it for now, of course, you're going to do some meme culture sort of jokes and bits. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't have a ton of... I'm just not invested enough to care. Will the internet's response to the Shrek 5 tease will force Universal to pull a Sonic, delaying the movie a year to fix the animation? Honestly, I don't see what's a big deal considering last one came out 15 years ago and animation has changed after that time. And it's not just that the last one came out 15 years ago, it's that the first one came out 25 years ago. And so the last one came out 15 years ago, building on the work and the designs from a very primitive era. The first Shrek movie has some very bad character designs. They are iconic because Shrek is iconic. But like the human characters in those first two movies, I don't think look good because no human characters in CGI animated films from that era looked good. They all looked horrible. And that's why they started getting like tech got much better after like 2005 to animate human characters, and The Incredibles is where it like starts to like you crack through just a little bit. There's still flaws in it, but I've never liked the way most of the human characters looked in the first Shrek. And so they updated that by the fourth one so it was better, but it was building off of something that I think was fundamentally flawed. And by fundamentally flawed, I mean the best you could possibly do at the time. But for the technology, it was very primitive. And we are just so many light years ahead. The idea that they would update it now, like to me, that's not like, sure, of course you should. Makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with it being a little bit more cartoony because the realistic look of the humans in the original, I thought it looked ridiculous. I still think it looks ridiculous. But I didn't grow up with it. So I was a cynical 20-something. I was like, what are these kids watching these days? You need sophisticated stuff like I grew up with, like Beauty and the Beast. My childhood is better than your childhood. But I'm the guy that I have no emotional attachment to it. So I'm not invested. So I don't really care. I don't know what's going to happen because like people are like, I heard someone say, do you think they're testing the waters to see what's going to happen? Also keep in mind, this is not a trailer for the movie. This is a casting announcement. This isn't footage from the film. So we don't know what the movie actually looks like. So maybe they really are just testing the waters of like, how do people respond if we do this? If we go like a little more cartoony, redesign, how do people respond? They could be doing that. But like, it's not the same thing as the Sonic trailer, which was footage from the movie and people went, yikes! Wow! Yeah, it's also still really far out. I mean, we're almost still two years out. So I wouldn't jump to any conclusions about what's going to happen with it. But, and I'm the wrong person to ask because I am so detached from the core audience of Shrek viewers. I might only be 5 years older than them, but I'm totally detached from that audience. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.